host, Dr. Charlie Ferrer, clinical sexologist and sex therapist. Today, we're going to be talking about Tibetan sounds, and I brought in a world expert. So welcome. How are you doing? Thank you for being here today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what Tibetan tones are and how it helps us?
Tibetan tones are what I call Tibetan tones, and what Tibetan tones means is the sounds coming off of Tibetan singing bowls. So it's a type of sound vibrational transformation work that helps move stagnation in the body, clears the lymphs, opens up the lungs, and really heals the spirit. And it's a practice that people can do themselves, and also a type of sound massage on the body, or group sound massage also.
And where do you go to learn this? I mean, who started it? Who invented it?
Well,
how did it come about?
For this style of work, Peter Hess from the Peter Hess Academy in Germany has been doing this for over 40 years in researching and in developing the perfect type of bowls for doing massage work. And as far as sound vibrational therapy, there's a man named Fabian Maman, and it's Tamado, TAMA-DO.com, and you can read all about him and all of his work in sound vibrational therapy. But Peter Hess in Germany and my partner Manan Sharma from India are the ones who use this type of singing bowls for sound vibration work. And there's plenty of other people that also do sound work with singing bowls. Just this is something.
And there's different types of bowls,
Yes.
is that correct?
Yeah,
different types,
yeah.
different sounds, different
Yeah.
sizes.
Yeah.
Even so, when we get to Deborah Santulli Barone, that does our segment on Did You Know, is actually going to be our volunteer, and we'll be going over to her in a little bit. But we'll be able to see all the different sizes. And I know that before we got started, you talked to me about the healing power of sound. So
Yes.
this is a book that you brought for me, and can you tell me a little bit about that and why?
This book
and
is
why it's
by,
so important?
as far as using Tibetan singing bowls in oncology, Dr. Mitch Gaynor was the one who really had made so much headway and great success using sound therapy with his oncology patients. And he's written a few books about sound therapy with singing bowls, and also, especially for cancer patients, humming and chanting was very, very important. And his books are probably my favorite books to read about sound vibration work.
And so, I want to let you know, right at the beginning of the show, we had talked about, Elaine and I, about the difference between your levels of healing and recovery. And so for me, I'm only 2 months out of my surgery. And so you mentioned that that doing the sounds in the actual bowls wasn't that good for me because we're talking vibration. So I have my stitching and so on, so we don't want to mess with that. But you mentioned being able to do humming.
Good thing for you, Charlie, is, and everybody, is that just practice listening to your breathing with your hand over your ears, and just breathe in through the nose and breathe out. But cover your ears so you almost hear like an echo, and let yourself hear yourself breathe.
That is different.
And like this.
So it's like you're underwater almost.
Yeah, and you do this for a few minutes every day. And the most important thing when you're trying to get better is you want to always maintain a state of relaxation and no stress, and just be aware of your breathing, because most people are not really breathing. you know?
Yeah, and we breathe
And-
really shallow, so
right.
should we be breathing a lot deeper and just,
Yeah, or
you know, like
it's
they
like
always say,
they say,
breathe in?
remember to exhale. As long as you're exhaling, you will be breathing. So it's just, it's
Yeah.
pretty much that simple. But the thing for me, what the sound of the singing bowls, what I first heard was when I was learning how to meditate in 1995 in a Zendo. And it's that sound of a brass bowl and these, and it clears your heart and clears your mind. And this is the main tool used in Zen practice is,
And I don't know about you, but for me, it automatically feels, it brings my awareness to, okay, it's time to relax.
yep,
Okay, it's time to, you know, to start feeling better, start doing something to make us feel better.
yeah. So the other thing that you want to do to keep the acidity down in your body, because there's too much acidity in the body, is to practice humming. And hum your favorite songs all the time. Whenever you feel mind starts going, start to hum. And just
Okay.
let me hear you try to just hum. Hum. Now hum your favorite tune. But the more humming that you practice, the more,
Yeah, and I'm starting to feel it not only in my throat, but here.
yeah, so it's that delicate. It's just that delicate because we are very, very delicate. We think that we're so dense and super people and so strong and we can handle anything, but really we're very delicate beings, all of us. And as you start to peel things away, you start to realize when you get down to this finer version of you, you realize how really beautiful you are, and you begin to fall madly in love with yourself. And that's a very special experience to have. And it's a feeling as if when you hear a love song on the radio, you think these people wrote these songs to themselves, to their own spirit.
Yeah.
You fall in love with yourself and you feel as if you're in the car and your spirit is sitting right next to you in the seat.
Well,
That's how strong
that's beautiful.
your self really is once you clear away. So the cancer is not the end of the world, it's the beginning. It really,
you start
really is.
looking at life totally different, and you start becoming very much aware
Yeah.
of what you're bringing into your life. Not only what you're eating and so on, but also what you're bringing into your life.
And how much turbulence in the mind. You know, even a very positive mind is a turbulent mind. So what I've learned from the bowls especially, and from meditation, but from the bowls, is that what transformation is when you have this sense of peace. And it's not an emotion of happy or an emotion of sad. It's a state of being, peace. And it's a very, very, it's an experience that when I first had it, I said, is this what it's like to be normal? Is this what normal feels like? Not to feel like the world is coming at you. Your whole facial expression will change when peace, this wave of peace, comes over you, and then you own it. You own this peace, you know, peace in the belly,
Yeah.
peace in the mind, and a lot of this.
And it's a piece of coming home too.
Exactly.
Because I remember when I went to Egypt and I was standing between the paws of the Sphinx, and I just touched the cartouche that was there, and it just felt for me like I was home, and I just got this overwhelming sense of belonging.
Yeah.
And it just, you know, I started to cry and I started doing whatever, but it was that overwhelming feeling, but not in a bad way. It was just so wonderful to finally feel, wow, this is where I belong. This is what I've been waiting for. And that feeling when you know, you're talking about that and being able to get that from the bowls or being able to get it from any kind of meditation that you do, that's a beautiful, gorgeous thing.
Yeah.
Where you're just happy to be. I know when I go walking and people think I'm a crazy woman because I'll go for my walks and I do daily walks every day. And all of a sudden I'm just standing there and just, oh, the wind is playing with me. And I just start cracking up because I'm just feeling the wind, and it's that happy moment. So we can find moments of happiness anywhere. And so if the bowls help, that would be wonderful because it brings you to the present.
Yeah.
And I know that you've been setting them up and getting Deborah ready. And when we were setting up for the show, and I was in the control room, I was telling people, you're getting us ready for this because of the tones, and we're hearing all the tones, and you were going, okay, make sure you get the tones, and I'm going, I feel all of them. I'm getting them all, and each one, and we'll go as soon as we go to Deborah, but it's like each one plays on a different part of your body even.
Yeah.
Because you're picking it up
there's
in a different
overtones.
part.
With brass bowls, it's in the overtones. Like, people like to get hung up in the notes and this and that, but the magic in the brass bowls is in the overtones. And it's just like an acoustic guitar. The magical part of an acoustic guitar is it's the overtones. So when you hear acoustic guitars or any certain types of music, it's in these overtones where this healing occurs. So music is very, very important for everyone.
We shouldn't focus on,
No.
well, is it an A flat or is it a B or is it an F?
No, when
just
people
is.
are doing that, they're trying to make a bigger deal out of something. It's very difficult. Every person's different. You know, we could sit and try to check for the obstructed parts in your body and work here and there. But when someone who's really trained in this from a standpoint of meditation, they're able to be in tune with this without saying, I need an A, I need a B flat. They just will
And I've heard people do that.
They will grab the right bowl. Things work, but that comes with a lot of experience of just being present to the bowls and present to the client, you know, and it, otherwise, if you could, to try to do this as a science and, you know, try to, I wouldn't want to do it. I tried it. I tried to learn that, and it ruined my experience of helping people with bowls. I like to work with somebody and the bowls and leave all that stuff away, you know. And I find I need a lot less bowls that way also.
Okay, excellent.
You know?
So what I want to do is I actually want to turn around and give a chance for Deborah, who's waiting for us over by the mats, and she's all prepared. So we're going to go and join Deborah and see what it's like in actuality.
When your vibration comes up a little higher, you definitely will notice this about other people, and sometimes maybe you'll start to do something better for you, like don't be around these people anymore. Right. It really comes down to that, because you're not going to change somebody else. That's number one rule.
Right, you have to change your own behavior or your own way of thinking.
And leave.
Well, sometimes you can't leave because it's
I'm
your
joking.
kids or your
husband
or your wife and stuff, and so you can't leave. But you can try to set some boundaries and say, you know, this is my
That's
time.
right. Look at it fly away.
So we'll go
Leave
here.
the room and go
That's
pick
right.
up your bowl. So there's a lot of bowls here, and you don't need all these bowls. We've been playing with them for a while, so they're all here. So you could just lay down, all right? And
You get to lay out on the set.
Yes, this feels great already.
yeah, and this mat is covered with linen fabric, and linen is the highest frequency fiber, you know. It has what's known as a 5,000 signature frequency. This is a grounding bowl. Yeah, you hear?
And I see that you're putting the bowls into her hand. Is there a reason why you're doing that?
Well, when you put the bowls into someone's hand, these are the acupoints in your hand. They're the most powerful points in Chinese medicine. I'm studying Chinese medicine now, and so I use the bowls in the clinic along with acupuncture, and the clients just feel so much better. And what you see mostly is, well, first of all, irritable bowel syndrome, the patient had amazing results. Parkinson's has amazing results. Depression.
And so her job is just to lay there and breathe.
That's all. We say if the patient hasn't fallen asleep or gone into the theta brainwave state, then we have failed. So
you want them to fall asleep?
yeah, but what happens is
Or just to go into that
they go into this
mellow light?
like a theta brainwave state, which people get that when they suck on their thumb. You should never make somebody stop sucking their thumb. The thumb suckers happen to be the most creative people
Really?
that you'll ever meet, absolutely. So, because they're stimulating the pineal gland.
And the pineal gland is at the base or at the bottom of your...
Tip of the roof of the mouth there.
And she just looks so peaceful.
So when you're in a theta brainwave state, that's the state that you get into with meditation also. And that's where the healing occurs. 15 or 20 minutes of being in that brainwave state is like having 2 nights of sleep, because nobody ever gets a good night's sleep.
Right.
This is the big problem. So as you learn how to rest, you lose that tired but wired feeling that everyone has. And this comes through, you need these tools, through these sounds, because this entrainment effect works on the brain, these sounds. And this is what gets the body to be in a more harmonious state.
And I feel the vibrations, because I mean you're doing them towards her, and I know she's absorbing them, but I'm close to her and I'm feeling those vibrations as well, like coming my way. So sound waves and
sound
just
travels through your bones, okay? And if we were on a wooden floor right now, you would feel the whole floor vibrating. So, and your blood is storing all the phosphorus and calcium in the bones, you know, and so this is actually vibrating right down to the bones.
Okay.
All right?
And I know for Deborah, do you feel it all the way down to your bones? I'm interrupting your Zen moment here.
That's okay. What I feel is sensation going through my blood all the way up to my head and getting a tingling in my head. Maybe that's the first sign of getting through, because we all have barriers, and I think it takes a while of relaxation to get past those barriers. So it has gone into my blood, I feel, and it's tingling from my toes all the way up to my head.
Yeah, you're much happier than,
Yeah, I'm watching her face.
and this morning. You're much more peaceful.
Yes.
This morning when we were talking out in the lobby, you were very stressed.
Yes,
you
totally
know?
stressed.
And
this feels so good.
yeah.
I don't want to
I've
get
seen
up.
I've seen vibrational work change people's lives, really. And when you can lift your spirit, when you could get to that point like I'm talking about, when you hear a love song on the radio and you're singing that song to your spirit, okay? Then you're there. Then you're free. You're really free. And this thing about other people in your life, it'll just roll off you like water on a duck's back. It will roll right off of you, because you will be like this. But if you let somebody hook into you, and this will always happen with family.
Right.
Family first. This will happen. They will hook into you, and no one can hurt you like your own family. The things that they say, they think it's okay to say because they're family. It's not. It's never okay to say just anything. Mean things. It's not. And just because, you have to always remember that. So keep your vibration high, and when someone notices something different in you, then they want to be different too. It is a contagious thing. High vibration is contagious.
So if these bowls can get a little pricey. And so if somebody's wanting to start, what should they start with? Should they start with a little one, a medium one, or one that they find that really resonates with them? Or
A little bowl, I always tell people start with the little bowl. Isn't that beautiful?
That is lovely.
The little bowls make people smile. They do. And it's the little bowl that's the first noise that you hear, the first sound that you hear in the Zendo also. You hear 3 tings. So I always tell people to start with that. These big bowls that I have is really specifically for working on people, and I do it on a table. I don't usually work on the floor, and it's different. Everyone doesn't have to have a big collection of bowls. If they want to buy bowls, they can go to my website, of course, or any website. But
And what's your website?
It's TibetanTones.com, Tibetan.
And we'll also have a lot of this information on our website, cancertamer.org, and we'll have a link to her website so that if you're interested in getting more information, you're welcome to do that, and also send us some questions that you might have. The beautiful thing, and I don't know if you're hearing it, I know that a lot of times when we do meditation, we try to get some kind of music playing in the background and something soft and instrumental, but with these bowls, you don't need that.
No.
It's the bowls that are giving you the music.
And also
Because
in the
they're humming.
Zendo, there's one very, very big bowl that's used in the chanting. It's the bowls that take people into the best zazen, the clearest zazen meditation. Okay? Not music playing in the background. It's chanting using your own vocal cords. You are the vibrator. You are the harmonium. You are using your vocal cords. And it's key for people with chronic illness to do humming and chanting. Absolutely key. And it's even more important not to know what you're chanting about. If you want to know a good chant, do O McDonald. E-I-E-I-O. And on his farm he had a pig. E-I-E-I-O. With an oink oink here and an oink oink there. So before you know it, you're using all these sounds.
And you wouldn't even think of it. And that's the beauty of it.
So you're making oink oink sounds and all these different sounds. This is really important. It's really, really key, and you're going to see more and more sound baths in yoga studios, and people who have very big gongs and do gong baths and things like that. Sound vibration is the medicine of the 21st century. Absolutely. You're going to see this so much more.
Now, when you talk about humming, how many minutes a day to hum?
You hum until you're too tired to hum. That's
okay.
all. You don't want to knock yourself out. And your time, what you'll find, what will happen is humming is like laughing practice. When you practice laughing, you're snapping that part right where your gallbladder is. Mm-hmm. And that laughing, after a while, when it unlocks the locked up gallbladder, you find your original giggle, and it's like,
oh, like when a baby giggles,
okay?
Yes.
And so once your gallbladder is unlocked, when you do laughing exercise first thing in the morning, your gallbladder is unlocked for the rest of the day. So as you're talking, you kind of talk with a little bit of a giggle as you're talking, you notice, and that's because the tension is unlocked here.
Okay.
This is the first place we tense
awesome way
up.
to start your day.
Yeah.
When you're just
laughing and
it's very
releasing.
hard to make
that.
yourself laugh, because mind starts saying,
what are you doing?
what are you doing?
What are you doing? That's not so funny.
The minute that you hear the word idiot or something like that come in to your own conversation, you have to backspace, erase it,
Right.
And let it go. You have got to stop beating yourself up, and you cannot make yourself wrong or anyone else wrong. You know?
And believe it or not, everyone, we have about 3 minutes left of our show. So we've been doing this for quite a while. So it's a wonderful, wonderful idea. No, stay down. Yeah, stay there. You're just too relaxed. And if you notice, she's grabbing onto her bowls already. She's like,
little toes
getting
are moving.
into this.
Right? You're completely different than you were this morning,
Yes.
because we've been playing around with the bowls for a while.
I
Yeah.
feel better. My stomach feels better. It was all in knots for a while, and it was
Yeah.
good.
That's why I do this. When my experience of it is so great and such freedom that I really just want everyone to experience it. So we do have a class. October 1st and 2nd is a 2-day training, and it's just going to be like an awesome sound bath. But we're going to train people because we need more people to do this, so that you go somewhere and get a sound bath. You know.
And when you say sound bath, what do you mean by that?
I mean, in the bathtub?
in a room where bowls are being played and gongs. You see, for trauma, sound work is very important. And gongs, when you let a trauma victim have control of the sound and let them work the gongs, they have amazing results. You can't talk therapy, trauma. You just can't. You have to get down to that vibration, and they'll find it. You let them have control. That's what I do. I let them have control of the sound,
And let them find the sound they need,
and it,
so that
it's a creative process that's
Yeah.
very individual. You know.
And I know I mentioned before when we started doing this, I got a little, I don't want to say nauseous, but I got a little off balance. And so you were mentioning that's more of my body's trying to get rid of those toxins.
Stuff comes up. Stuff
comes
will come
up.
up. Yeah.
So it's okay for that to happen, and just work through it, because now I'm totally fine.
Oh, I'm glad.
But
I was worried.
but it was, for a couple of minutes there, it was like, what's going on? What's happening? I'm feeling a little queasy, and then it's like, wow, okay, now it's gone, and I had some water and
Plus,
stuff,
we
and I
had
was
a little,
fine.
all kinds of technical stuff going on, straightening out. Things ran behind schedule, so
Yes,
now
but
you
this
get
is good.
this is what happens.
And it's good.
So is there a difference with someone who is only two months out of surgery, and I'm 2 years
I
out
wouldn't
of
put
surgery?
any bowls on their body. Like, I didn't put any bowls on you today, but usually I put them on people, or I turn them over and put them on their back even.
Right.
It's all different. It's different for every person, but I was saying for Charlie in the beginning, do the humming. It's so important. Hum your favorite songs and just be a little harmonium. Be like always buzzing, and you will come up from here, because the frequency of cancer is down here, and you can pull yourself out.
Okay, awesome. So for those of you out there watching the show, please feel free to come to the website, cancertamer.org.